I'm so bored today. I wonder what I should do. Maybe I can go hang out with Mario or something. I don't know. Sonic! Sonic! Oh, hey Tails. What's up? Hey Sonic, listen. You know the Cartoon Gal 98, right? Yeah, she's the one who makes the videos in this channel, right? Yeah, of course. Listen, she has something for you. It's on the bed, so... yeah. Wait, she has something for me? On the bed? Okay. Better go see what it is. Hopefully it's something good. I'll be right back. So, she has something for me. Wonder what it is. Oh, what's this? It looks like a letter. Dear Sonic, can you do me a favor for me? I'm going to be gone for a while, so can you narrate the story for me, please? The story is in this tablet. Thanks. From the Cartoon Gal 98. Story? What kind of story? Oh! A Creepypasta story. Oh yeah, for the Creepypasta reading series she did. Oh. That's silly. Oh, so she wants me to narrate a story in this tablet? Hopefully it's good. I'm gonna go read this story, or see what story it is. Time to find out what story is going to be. No. It can't be!
Oh no!
Oh no! No!
Shut up!
Why? Why has it gotta be this story? Out of all the stories she could have requested me to do, she had to pick this one. Why? I'm sorry, Sonic, but the Cartoon Gal 98 wanted you to tell this story. But I don't want to read it. Yeah, I know. But she also says if you do the story, she'll give you a chili dog. Well, as long as it has to do with chili dogs, I guess I have no choice. So, here is the story of Sonic. Oh god! Even saying the title alone makes me cringe. I know, but you gotta do it somehow. Okay, fine. Here is the story of Sonic.exe. I am a total Sonic the Hedgehog fan, much like everyone else. I like the newer games, but I don't mind the classics. I don't think I've ever played glitchy or hacked games before, though I don't think I want to play after the experience I had. It started on a nice summer afternoon. I was playing Sonic Unleashed. I like how you get to explore the towns in it, until I noticed out of my horrific vision that the mailman had arrived and put something in my mailbox as usual, and left. I paused my game to go see what I got in the mail. The only thing in the mailbox was a CD case from computers and a note. I took the note inside and looked at the note first and realized it was from my dear friend Kyle. Let's just call him that. Whom I hadn't heard from in 2 weeks. I know that because I recognized his handwriting, though what was weird is how it looked. It looked badly written and scratchy and somewhat difficult to read, as if Kyle was having a hard time writing it down and did it in a hurry. This is what he wrote. Tom, I can't take it anymore. I had to get rid of this thing somehow before it was too late, and I was hoping you'd do it for me. I can't do it. He's after me, and if you don't destroy the CD, he'll come after you too. He's too fast for me. Lisa, destroy this godforsaken disc before he comes after you two. It's too late for me. Destroy the disc, and you'll destroy him. But do it quick, otherwise he'll catch you. Don't even play it. The game. It's what he wants. Just destroy it. Please. Kyle.
What the heck was that?
Hey, I'm doing this story, so I gotta do the voices. Well, that was certainly weird. Even though Kyle is my best friend, and I haven't seen him in 2 weeks, I didn't do what he asked me. I didn't think that a simple gaming disc would do anything bad to him. After all, it's just a game, right? Boy, was I wrong about that. Anyway, I looked at the disc, and it looks like any ordinary computer CDR disc, except it had black marker on it written Sonic.exe, and it was much unlike Kyle's handwriting, meaning that he must have gotten it from someone else, like a pawn shop or eBay. When I saw Sonic, that's me, on the writing of the CD, I was actually excited and wanted to play it. Since I'm a big Sonic fan, you said that already. I went up to my room and turned on my computer and put the disc in and installed the game. Title screen popped up. I noticed, wait. Why did it change all of a sudden?
Oh, I forgot to tell you that the Cartoon Gal 98 also wants the footage in this episode.
What? You mean I gotta narrate the story and look at the footage at the same time?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh my god. Why me? It was the first Sonic game. I was like, awesome. But like I said earlier, I like the class. You said it already. The first thing I noticed that was out of place was when I pressed start. There was a split second when I saw the title image turn into something much different. Something that I now considered horrifying before cutting to black. I remember what the image looked like in that split second before the game cut to black. The sky had darkened, the title emblem was rusted and ruined. The Sega 1991 was now instead Sega 666. And the water had turned red, like blood. But the freakiest thing that was in that split second frame was Sonic. His eyes were pitch black and bleeding with 2 glowing red dots. Cliches. Staring right at me. And his smile had stretched wider up to the edge of his face. I was rather disturbed about that image when I saw it, though I figured that it was just a glitch and forgot about it. After it cut to black, it stayed like that for about 10 seconds or so, and then another weird thing happened. The save file select from Sonic the Hedgehog 3 popped up, and I was like, what the freak?
I think you mean, what the fuck?
Hey, I know what it means!
I just don't want to say it.
What is this doing in the first Sonic game? Anyway, then I noticed something off. The background was the dark, cloudy sky of the bad Stardust Speedway level from Sonic CD. And there were only 3 save files. The music was that creepy caverns of winter music from Earthbound, only it was extended and seemed to have been in reverse. And the image for the save file, where you see a preview of the level you're on, is just red static for all 3 files. What freaked me out more was the character select. It showed only Tails, Knuckles, and to my surprise, Dr. Robotnik. Now I was sure that something was up. I mean, how can you play as Robotnik in a classic Sonic game, for crying out loud? Maybe a hacked or a mod? That's when I realized that it wasn't a glitchy game, it was a hacked game. Yep.
Said it.
Yeah, it definitely looked hacked.
Said it.
It was really creepy, but as a smart gamer, I wasn't scared, or at least I tried not to be. I told myself that it was just a hack game, and there's nothing wrong with that. Anyways, shaking off the creeped out feeling, I picked file 1 and chose Tails. And when I selected and got started, the game froze for about 5 seconds and I heard a creepy pixelated laugh that sounded an awful like that Capical guy from Final Fantasy before cutting to black. The screen stayed black for about 10 seconds or more, then it showed the typical level title thing, except the simplistic shapes were different shades of red, and the text only showed Hill Act 1. The screen faded in, and the level title vanished, revealing Tails in the green hill zone from Sonic 1. The music was different though. It sounded like a peaceful melody in reverse. Chase again. Anyway, I started playing and had Tails start running like you would in any of the classic Sonic games. What was odd was that as Tails was running along, the level there was nothing but flat ground and a few trees for 5 minutes. Then was when the peaceful music started to lower down into its low, deep tones very slowly as I kept going. Suddenly, I saw something and stopped to see what it was. It was one of the small animals lying dead on the ground bleeding. That was when the music started to slow down. Tails had a shocked and saddened look on his face that I never saw him have before. So I had him move along as he kept that worried look on his face. As he kept moving, I saw more dead animals as Tails moved past them, looking more and more worried as the music lowers as he passed more dead animals. I was shocked to see how they all died. They looked like somebody killed them in rather gruesome ways. A squirrel was hanging on a tree with what appeared to be his entrails hanging out. A bunny had all 4 of his limbs torn off, and a duck had his eyes gouged out and his throat slit. I felt sick to my stomach when I saw this massacre, and apparently so did Tails. After a few more seconds, there was no more animals, and the music seemed to have stopped. I still kept Tails to continue. After a minute passed after the music stopped, Tails was running up a hill and then he stopped. It wasn't until I saw why. Sonic was there on the other side of the screen with his back against Tails with his eyes closed. Tails looked happy to see Sonic, but then his smile faltered, obviously noting that Sonic wasn't responding to him, if not acting as if he was totally oblivious of Tails' presence. Tails walked slowly towards Sonic, and I noticed that I wasn't even moving my keyboard to make him move, so this had to been a cutscene. Suddenly, I began to have a growing feeling of dread as Tails walked closer to Sonic to get his attention. I felt that Tails was in danger and something bad was going to happen. I heard faint static growing louder as Tails was but inches away from Sonic and stopped and stuck his hand out to touch him. That foreboding feeling in my gut was growing stronger, and I felt the urge to tell Tails to get away from Sonic as the static grew louder. Suddenly, in a split second, I saw Sonic's eyes open and they were black with those red glowing dots. Just like that title image, thought there wasn't a smile. When that happened, the screen turned black and the static sound was off. It stayed black for about 7 seconds, and then white text appeared forming a message saying, "Hello, do you want to play with me?"
Don't ever do that again.
Hey, I'm narrating the story. Like I said, gotta do the voices. At this point, I was creeped out. I didn't want to continue with the game, but my curiosity got the better of me when I was taken to a different level, with the level title now saying Hide and Seek. This time I was in the Angel Island level from Sonic 3, and it looked like everything was on fire. Tails looked as though he was scared out of his wits this time. He actually looked at me and made frantic gestures to me as if he wanted to get out of the area he was in as fast as possible. I was starting to get freaked out by this. I mean, Tails was actually breaking the fourth wall, trying to tell me to get him out of there. So I pressed down on the arrow key as hard as I could and made him run as fast as he could. And a pixelated version of that creepy theme when you meet Shadow at the Ark as Robotnik from Sonic Adventure 2 was playing as I made Tails run through the desolated forest, trying to help him escape from whatever he was trying to run from. Suddenly I heard that creepy laugh again, that awful Kafka laugh. Right after 10 seconds has passed as I helped Tails run through the forest. And then I started to see flashes of Sonic popping everywhere on the screen, again with those black and red eyes. The music changed to that suspenseful, drowning jingle as I see Sonic behind Tails slowly gaining up on him, flying. Sonic wasn't running, he was actually flying. The flying pose his sprite was making looked very similar to Metal Sonic's flying pose in Sonic CD, except it was just Sonic and he had the black and red eyes again. Only this time he had the most deranged looking grin on his face. He looked as though he was enjoying the torment he was giving the poor little fox as he gained up on him. Suddenly, when Tails tripped, another cutscene. The music stopped and Sonic vanished. Tails lay there and started crying for 15 seconds. The scene was rather upsetting to watch, and I kind of teared up myself. But then Sonic appeared right in front of Tails, and Tails looked up in horror. The blood started to come down those blackened eyes. God, of Sonic's as a grin slowly grew from his face as he looked down at the horrified fox. I could do nothing but watch. Just in a split second, Sonic lunged at Tails right before the screen went black. There was a loud screeching noise that only lasted 5 seconds. The text returned, only this time it said, "You're too slow. Wanna try again?" And then the god-awful laugh came with it. I was so shocked by what had happened. Did Sonic murder Tails? No, but my evil clone did. Thank you very much. He couldn't have. He and Tails are supposed to be best friends, right? Why did Sonic do that to him? Because it's an evil clone of me, duh. I shook the shock off as I was brought back to the character select. The save file that had Tails was different. Tails was no longer in the box itself, but in the TV screen itself, which was flickering with that red static. Tails' expression scared me. His eyes were black and bleeding. His orange fur had gone black, and he had an expression of anguish on his face. Trying to ignore it, I picked Knuckles next. The laugh came again and the screen cut to black again and stayed there for another 10 seconds. This time the level said, "You can't run." I was really freaked out by now. I couldn't really tell if this was a glitch or a hack or some kind of sick twisted joke or anything really. But despite my fear of what happened next, I kept playing. The next level looked much different. It had the ground of the Scrap Brain Zone, but the sky background looked like the main menu. It had the dark, reddish, cloudy sky, but it was the music that creeped me out the most. It sounded like Guy Gas theme right after you beat Pokey in Earthbound. I also noticed that Knuckles looked afraid just like Tails did, though not as much. More rather, he looked a little unnerved. He broke the fourth wall just like Tails and looked as if he wasn't sure about going on, but I made him move anyway. He ran down the straight pathway in this dark level. As he did, the screen started to flicker red static a couple times, and then that maddening laugh came again. Then, after a few seconds of running, I noticed several blood stains on the metallic ground. I felt a growing sense of fear again, thinking something horrible is going to happen to Knuckles. He looked nauseated walking down this blood-stained road, but I still kept him going. Suddenly, as Knuckles ran, Sonic appeared right in front of him with those black and red eyes. And then red static appeared again. When the static vanished, showing nothing but black screen with text saying, "Found you!" I was now scared. Sonic found Knuckles already. What was going on? Anyway, red static came again, and then I was back to the level. Knuckles looked like he was panicking, and Sonic was nowhere to be found. And this time, that high-pitched squealing from the Silent Hill 1's final boss was playing. Was this some kind of boss battle with Sonic? I hope to God it wasn't, honestly. Suddenly, Sonic appeared right behind Knuckles in what appeared to be a pixelated black smoke. I made Knuckles turn and then punch Sonic, but Sonic vanished in black pixelated smoke before I could even land a hit. That terrible laugh went off again. Then Sonic appeared behind Knuckles again, and then I made him punch again. And Sonic vanished again, laughing. Knuckles was panicking even more, and even I felt like I was going crazy. Like me reading this story. Sonic was practically playing with us. He was playing a sick, twisted little mind game with me and Knuckles. Another cutscene played as Knuckles fell to his knees and clenched his head, sobbing. I felt his agony. Sonic was actually driving us both crazy. And then in a split second, Sonic lunged at Knuckles and the screen went black with another distorted screeching noise that lasted for at least 3 seconds. Another text message appeared. "So many souls to play with, so little time. Would you agree?" What the hell is going on? I started to think Sonic was actually trying to talk to me through the game, but I was too scared to think that. I was brought back to the main menu, and this time the second file box had Knuckles in the TV screen. His red fur had darkened to a reddish gray, his dreadlocks were dripping with blood, and his eyes were black and bleeding. So it's just Knuckles, but in a darker red version. And he had a look of sadness on his face. I began to think that those are the actual characters trapped in those TV screens on the save files, but I couldn't believe it. I didn't want to believe it. So I shut off the game and took a break. I took a nap. I wish I hadn't. 'cause then I began to have the most disturbing nightmare. I was in pitch black darkness, though I was under the light given off by a lamp that hung high above my head. I can hear the cries of Knuckles and Tails nearby. They were saying stuff like, "Help us!" and "Why didn't you give us to him?" and "Run away before he gets you too."
Did you seriously just mock me? Hey, I knew you didn't want to read the story, so I did the voice for you. Yeah, but you didn't have to mock me, though.
Okay. Their cries died out as I then heard Sonic laugh. His laugh sounded a lot like the distorted Kepka laugh.
You're a lot fun to play with, kid, just like your friend Kyle, though he didn't last long.
I was scared and looking around for the source of the voice.
Won't be long until you join him and all my other friends.
I saw him walking toward me, flickering in and out in several directions.
You can't run, kid. You're in my world now, just like the others.
When he grabbed me, I saw his bleeding, black and red-eyed and grin-footing face. I woke up with a fright. After a couple hours, I decided to continue. No! Don't go back to the game! Why?
Playing the game.
I don't know why. Because you're stupid! But I had to know. I had to figure out why this was happening. So I turned on the computer and turned on the game and selected Robotnik next. I still thought that was wacky playing as Robotnik. But anyway, the level title appeared, and this time it said nothing, which I found really freaky. This time I was in some kind of hallway. Didn't really look like it was from any of the classic Sonic games, though it had the pixelated style. The floor was shiny and checkered. The walls were a dark grayish purple with animated candlelights and a few dark blood stains here and there. And there was a dark red curtain hanging above on the top part of the screen. Every 12 seconds or so, that red curtain sways very slowly. But whenever you're playing the game, you could barely see it move. The music was oddly pleasant. A piano playing a rather sad yet peaceful song. But I knew better. This was the song that played in Hill Act 1, only it wasn't in reverse, and God. Robotnik didn't look entirely nervous like Tails and Knuckles did, but he did have a suspicious look on his face, as if he was just a bit paranoid. He did a little animation when I just left him standing. He turned his head to the left and then to the right at least twice, and then he shrugs at me as if he has no idea where he was or what's going on. Even though I was scared out of my mind about what was going to happen, I had Robotnik continue onward. He did his usual running animation, where when you've beaten him at the end of a classic Sonic game and you chase him. As we continued going through the hallway, then I stopped at a long flight of stairs leading downward. Now I was nervous. Even Robotnik seemed unsure of himself, though I pressed onward. As I led Robotnik down the stairs, I noticed that the walls have gotten darker and more reddish. The red torches are now an eerie blue. Then we landed onto another hallway. This one was larger than the last one, or at least I felt like it. And then we headed down another flight of stairs. This one was much longer, took at least a full 1 full minute. And then I heard that horrid Kepika laugh again. And then the music slowly faded until it was quiet. As it did, the walls turned more dark red and the torches were a black flame now. When Robotnik landed onto the third hallway, I noticed he now looked really creeped out, though he tried to hide it. I couldn't blame him. I was scared too. Suddenly, Sonic popped right in front of Robotnik the same way he did Knuckles and then Red Static. The red static lasted for about 15 seconds and then it showed me a most unpleasant scene. The image showed an image of Sonic standing in the darkness where you can only see his face while his head and torso faded into black. He looked so real you could actually see the lines in his blue fur, as if you could actually feel the fur if you touched the screen. His face, oh god, he had the most horrifying smile I have ever seen. And that's saying something considering I saw that image at the start of the game. His eyes were wide and black and once again crying blood. And there were 2 small and glowing red dots in those black eyes staring right at me as if staring into my mind. His grin was wide and demonic. It literally stretched to the side of his face like a Cheshire cat. Except Sonic had fangs, very sharp fangs, much like the Werewolf's teeth, except more vicious looking. Somewhat yellowish, and from the look of it, he had stains of blood and small bits of flesh on his lips and fangs, as if he ate some animal. I stared at the gruesome image for a good 30 seconds, never taking my eyes off it. I felt as if he was actually looking at me, smiling at me. That face, it just took 10 seconds for it to etch itself into my brain for good. Then the screen flickered with red static again 3 times. And on the 3rd time, I heard the Kepika laugh, except this time it sounded distorted, demonic even. It went back to the image again. This time there was the text again, though it was messed up. But it was pretty much one of the most horrifying things I looked since I had this game.
I am God. Yeah, of cringe.
It was when I read that message when looking at Sonic when it hit me. I realized right there and then this Sonic was a monster, a pure, evil, sadistic, all-powerful, nightmares, demented monster, and all of his victims, including Tails, Knuckles, and Robotnik, and possibly Kyle, are just his little toys. And the game is the very gateway into his chaotic, nightmarish world, and the very hell his victims are trapped in. Suddenly, in that actual split seconds, I screamed as Sonic lunged at the screen, screeching loudly with his mouth wide open to an unnatural length, revealing nothing but a literal spiraling abyss of pure darkness before the red static came again, this time much louder and distorted, so loud that it hurt my ears. And I yelled and grabbed my ears as the red static screeched for a good 7 seconds. Then it stopped and showed nothing but black screen. As I sat there at staring at the black screen, one last text came up.
Ready for round 2, Tom? After I read the story? No! I never want to read this or anything related to the Sonic.exe thing again. Period.
The Kepika laugh, now sounding more clear as if Sonic was right behind me, played again 3 times as I looked at the text in shock and confusion. Then the main menu, and this time the 3rd save file had a TV image of Robotnik in the same time. Tormented state as Tails and Knuckles. Robotnik's skin turned a dull gray, his mustache drooped and had blackened, his glasses broke, and blood is coming
from them. He had a near dead-like expression on his face. I looked at Tails, Knuckles, and Robotnik, and I cried a bit. I pitied them for the agony they're going through. They were forever trapped within the game, forever tormented by that horrid hedgehog, and always will be. Then the computer shut itself off. I couldn't turn it back on, and no matter what I did, I sat there for maybe 25 seconds, horrified by what just happened. Sonic is the very embodiment of evil. He tortures people who play his game in more ways than one. And then when he gets bored, he drags you into the game, literally drags you to hell, where he could play with you always as his toy. I can't get the game out of my computer. I think it's stuck there, but at least I managed to turn it back on now. After I sat there for 25 seconds, I heard a voice right behind me, like a whisper.
Trying to keep this interesting for me, Tim.
I turned around to see where the voice came from, and what I saw made me scream. Sitting on my bed, staring right at me, was the Sonic plushie, smiling and bloodstained under his eyes.
The end. God.
Thank God. I'm glad that is finally over.
So, yeah, I'm glad you finished it too. What did you think of the story?
What did I think of this story?
I hate it. I hate it so much. It's cliche. It portrays me as a demon from hell, and the whole story sucks. Just sucks. 0 out of 10. Never again. I hate it so much.
So you want to read
Salad.exe? No!